I've heard of the working poor, and here lately, I'm hearing more and more about the working homeless. Homeless people that have a job, but they can't afford a place to stay. But never would I have ever thought that I would hear of someone that is a nurse who is actively working but is homeless. Well, technically not 100% homeless. They aren't living on the street, they're living in a van. I never would have thought I would ever see the day that a medical professional would not be able to afford a place to stay. And then I started thinking to myself, why is it so hard for people to move? And I made a post in my community earlier talking about um, this particular video that I saw, excuse me, and someone said maybe the person has ties to the community. And I started thinking to myself, what ties could you have that what ties could you have to a community that would keep you living in a place that you can no longer afford, even though you have a very good high paying job, but it has gotten so bad that you have resorted to living in your van. I was like, I just can't. I don't think I could do it. By the way, I'm Chante Charles, and I live in North Dakota. I moved to North Dakota 13 years ago from Georgia. And the reason why I moved here is because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And North Dakota presented me with an opportunity of where I could live um, and afford to live, where I could have a job, take care of myself, and afford to live without the need for government assistance. Well, I'm going to play this video in reference to the nurse that I'm talking about, and we'll get more into it. Let's check it out.
Turn a light on in here.
It's nighttime and the end of another 12-hour shift for TJ Carella.
See, there's a little bit of light.
Cozy quarters is how he likes to call it.
A solar generator down there for my electricity. I've got a fridge freezer here for my lunch and food.
For over a decade, TJ's been an emergency nurse at Stanford Hospital. When his shift is done, he still needs to be close by in case he gets called in for an emergency.
It's got the air mattress down here, and I stole my wife's nice throw blanket.
But his way of being close by involves sleeping in a van.
We're dealing with emergencies throughout the night. You know, we get woken up out of nowhere and we have to be here in 30 minutes.
Although he works at one of the most renowned hospitals in the country, there is one major thing he is lacking.
But you can't afford to live in this area.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
The cities surrounding the hospital are some of the most expensive in the country. Average home prices are more than $3 million, way out of TJ's and plenty of other nurses' pay scales.
How many would you?
You know what this makes me think about also? The importance of purchasing a home if you can. Now, I believe it said that he's been a nurse there for 10 years. Of course, the cost of living has gone up drastically, especially since COVID. Mostly everywhere in the United States, the price have gone up drastically on housing, apartments, what have you, over the last 5 years. But if he's worked there for 10 years, was it more affordable 10 years ago? Was he one of the people that believe, I don't want to, that have the mindset of, I don't want to buy a home. A home comes with too many responsibilities. And I feel like now the rhetoric that a lot of people are saying to not buy a home is one of the new great American scams. And I'll get into that, why I believe that in a moment. But let's finish the video.
Are sleeping in vans in between shifts?
I personally know probably at least 15 people that sleep in their vehicles. But there are definitely more than that.
Colleen Borges, the president of the Stanford Nurses Union, says this is a reality a lot of nurses deal with.
We do have nurses who fly in from out of state, work their, straight days and fly home. It is virtually impossible for a new nurse to purchase a home here in the Bay Area.
The union is working to get a new contract with the hospital. Stanford Health said in a statement, "We deeply value our nurses and are committed to reaching an agreement on a contract that recognizes their vital contributions to our healthcare system."
These jobs ain't loyal. These jobs ain't loyal. I mean, you have to, he is on call, which means that he has to live within a certain uh, radius of the hospital, so that even when he's off, when it's his turn to be on call, that he's within the hospital, within a certain radius of the hospital. So the reason why I said these jobs ain't loyal for this particular video is because the employer knows that it's unaffordable. Excuse me, allergies. The employer knows that housing is unaffordable for their workers. However, they still have these stipulations of on call, and I understand why they have on call and all of that. I've worked in the medical field, so I understand why they have on call. But I'm just like, there needs to be some type of adjustment. Why don't they switch it up so they have people? Try to have people, because people can call out. You never know what may happen, where they don't have to per se have on call if possible. Figure something out. But they know that it's not affordable for their workers to live within the radius that they're requiring, unless their worker purchased a home way before the price went up and what have you. So they know it's unreasonable, but they still have these requirements. And apparently the pay isn't enough for them to afford a place to live. Otherwise, they wouldn't be living in a van. But it's just, these jobs ain't loyal on so many levels. They ain't loyal. But and what's amazing to me is the job is not loyal to him, but he's loyal to a job. He's loyal to that job so much so that he's gonna live in his van, or he's connected to the area. He cares so much about living in this area that he refuses to move. Now, I don't know why, his particular reason, or why he continues to live there. I don't know. Maybe he has a plan to live in his van, save some money, and then move somewhere more affordable. I don't know. But for me, I would be looking for a nursing job somewhere else that is more affordable. Or if I wanted to keep my job, I would look for a place to stay in a more affordable area and then travel back to town when it was my schedule to work and when it was my time to be on call. Because some things people do just don't make any sense. At least not to me. Apparently it makes sense to him, but not to me.
They also mentioned the nurse retention rate exceeds national benchmarks. TJ doesn't think that retention rate will last.
In order for us to keep doing what we need to do.
Tell me down in the comments, do you think nurses or people like TJ that can't afford to live in the area but continue to work there, they do that? They stay because of the prestige of the name, to say, oh, I work for such and such. I work for, because here in America, we are hung up on what people do, where they do it, and all that kind of stuff. We are so hung up on what people do for a living, as if that defines you or makes you better than someone else. Because unfortunately, a lot of times when you first meet people, the first thing people lead with, what besides what's your name in the basic introduction, oh, what do you do for a living? But do you think they remain loyal because of the prestige of the name? Because some type of, oh, makes me feel good?
Then there are some things that need to change.
But until then, this dorm room on wheels will have to do.
Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15.
Sorry about that, guys. So tell me, would you continue to stay in an area if you were a TJ in his situation? Would you live in your van, or would you look for an opportunity somewhere else and move? Even though the pay may be less, but it's more affordable, you can have a good quality of life, because sometimes pay may be less somewhere, but if you can afford to buy a home or even live in an apartment on your own, would you be willing to move? Or would you continue to, if you were TJ, would you stay in that situation and live in your van? Leave me a comment and let me know. But I with people like him, I think this is why it's important to purchase a home if you can. I think it's important to purchase a home. And like I was saying earlier, one of the new great American scams is telling people don't purchase a home. There's a lot of responsibility in owning a home, blah, blah, blah. You can live a luxury lifestyle in a luxury apartment, and your landlord takes care of anything that gets broken, if something breaks down or what have you. And truth be told, majority of those apartments that they're peddling as luxury, they aren't even luxury. Not by what I call luxury. They got, besides stainless steel appliances, they have basic light fixtures, basic faucets, the basics, and they're peddling it as a luxury. But why I say telling people not to purchase a home is the new great American scam, because rent goes up every year. Rent goes up. And we saw what was going on during the pandemic. The greedy landlords were putting people's rent up an exorbitant amount, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700. The majority of the time, that is not going to happen when you own a home. Unless you purchase a brand new home, because when you purchase a brand new home, the majority of the time, the first year when you pay your taxes is not going to be the real tax bill. But when the next tax bill come in, then the real tax bill. And so when that next tax bill comes in, your taxes are going to be a lot higher. And that's why I tell people that you got to do your homework before you purchase a home, especially if you're purchasing a brand new home. But you got to you have to do your homework. You have to do your homework, and you got to do your due diligence with running numbers. I often tell people, if you are married, do not purchase a home using you and your spouse's income. Purchase a home using just one income, if at all possible. If at all possible. I know in certain circumstances it may not be possible, but do not get hung up on wanting the brand new home, the latest, the greatest, and the big old fancy neighborhood. And I'm not saying it's wrong to have those things, but especially if you are a first-time home buyer, don't get so caught up on, I want to have this, I want to have that, and all these extra things. The high price HOA, because they have a pool, they have all these amenities that half the time people don't even use. But I always recommend purchase a home using just one of your income. That way, in the event if something goes wrong, if one of you all lose your job, your mortgage is not as high as if it would be if you purchased a home using both of you all's income. And if the other person is working, you'll be able to cover the mortgage easily. And also, if you bought a home using just one of you all's income, it's easier to build an emergency fund. quicker because your mortgage is less. And it is possible. How do I know? My husband and I purchased a home that way. When we purchased a home, we purchased just using just his income for those specific reasons. In the event that something goes wrong, the mortgage is not sky high. It's not sky high. It's not unreasonable, you know? Also, before you purchase a home, get out of consumer debt. Get out of consumer debt. I was talking to my niece the other day, and she was telling me that somebody she knows have a $900 car note. $900. $900. $900. Like, okay, sure, but for me, my husband and I, we own 3 cars. Are they brand new? Absolutely not. Are they paid for? Yes. Nobody can come and repo them. And if we get down bad enough, we can sell one of them. If we get down real bad, we can sell 2 of them because I work from home. My kids go to school literally around the corner, 2 blocks away from our home. They can walk. But we don't owe anything on a car. We don't owe anything on a car. Do I want a new car? Yeah. Sometimes I see a new car and I'm like, that's nice. But more than a new car, I want peace of mind at night. Second to that, I want to purchase an apartment building. Buying a new car before purchasing income generating asset makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. But let me leave a comment. Tell me what y'all think about the video. Hit like, hit subscribe. Until next time, be blessed and have a prosperous future.